Hi, Lexie. How are you today? I see you're with your daddy again. And who do I see? Is that Aunt Jen? Oh, silly Aunt Jen. She's always there. So, Grammy misses you so much, but I know pretty soon I'm going to see you, huh? And I done some special things to the toy room. I made a whole new toy area for you and Lane and Brinley, and we all think it's so cool, and we got some new toys, and Grammy just can't wait to see you. So I got another story for you. Aunt Jen and Daddy tell me that you like your stories, so I'll continue to read you a story so that you can hear all the neat stuff. So that today's story is called The Honey Tree. And do you know who that is? That's who? Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, you have Winnie the Pooh stuff, don't you? So what do you think Winnie the Pooh likes best? Honey, that's right. He's always getting into the honey, and he always gets his fingers what? All sticky. Ah, he should have a rag, huh? So, Grammy's going to read this to you, and it starts out, here's some pictures. Okay, you can see there's Winnie the Pooh sitting by the smokestack and the fire. It says, Winnie the Pooh was sitting by the stove in his best armchair. When his Pooh cuckoo clock began to chime, Pooh coo, Pooh coo, it said. As soon as he heard it, Pooh knew it was time for something, and when his tummy began to growl, the little bear knew exactly what it was. It's time for something sweet, said Pooh. So off he went to the cupboard where he kept his, what does he keep in his cupboard? Honey, his honey jar. So he opens up the cupboard and says, "Oh, bother," said Pooh as he lifted his hands through the jar from the shelf. Empty again. Only the sticky part is left. Just then a bee flew in through the window and landed on Pooh's ear. Pooh listened thoughtfully to the buzzing little bee. The only reason for making a buzzing noise that he knew of is because you're a bee, said Pooh. And the only reason for being a bee is to make honey. And the only reason for making honey is so he can eat it. And he began to laugh. Oh, here, can you see that? Okay, so what is Pooh going to do? Pooh followed the bee out the door of his home and through the 100-acre woods, and when he came to the honey tree, he began to climb. As he climbed the tree, he sang a little song to himself, and it went something like this. When I'm rumbly in my tummy, it's time to get some honey, but I wouldn't climb a tree if I could fly just like a bee. Pooh climbed a little higher and a little higher. There's the tree, and there's where Pooh's climbing it, and he's got a bee next to him, and he's singing his song. He was just about to reach the honey when crack, something went crack. Oh, help, cried Pooh as he began to fall. If only I hadn't, well, you see, what I meant to do. But by this time, Pooh had already hit the ground. Boom! As the Pooh brushed the prickles from his nose, he decided that he needed help getting the honey, and his good friend Christopher Robin would be just the person to help. So here he is, falling out of the tree, and here he is. He landed on his butt, and now he needs to get help because he still doesn't have any honey. So Winnie the Pooh went to look for his friend. He found him outside his house in another part of the woods. "Good morning, Christopher Robin," he said. Then he noticed a balloon tied to Christopher Robin's tricycle. It gave Pooh a wonderful idea. "I wonder if you've got such a thing as a balloon about you," hinted the bear. "What for?" said Christopher Robin. Pooh looked this way and that, and when he was sure nobody was listening, he whispered, "Honey." "How do you get honey with a balloon?" asked the boy. "I shall fly like a bee," replied Pooh, "up the honey tree." So there he is talking to Christopher Robin, and there's Christopher Robin, and here he is telling him the secret because he doesn't want anybody else to know about the honey. Christopher Robin handed the balloon to Pooh. Instantly the little bear began to rise into the air. "See," he said. Christopher Robin grabbed onto Pooh and pulled him back down. "Thank you," said Pooh. Now would you be so kind as to take me to the place?" Look at there. Christopher Robin had to pull him back down because he started to fly away. Silly old bear. So Christopher Robin took Pooh to a very muddy place, and Pooh rolled in the mud until he was muddy all over. "There now," said Pooh, "isn't this a clever disguise?" "What are you supposed to be?" asked Christopher Robin. "A little black rain cloud, of course," replied Pooh. "Now, would you aim me at the bees, please?" Look at there. Pooh is getting all muddy. And do you know why he's doing that? So the bees don't know who he is and what he's doing there. Christopher Robin let go of his friend. Up, 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 Pooh floated to the treetop. "Pay no attention to me," Pooh said, sticking his paw into the hole of the tree. He pulled it right out again when a bee flew out and landed on his nose. See, there he is, flying up, up, and there he is, sticking his hand in the tree hole to get the honey. Did you know where honey comes from? You like honey. Remember Grammy gave you some one day? Honey comes from bees. Bees are a good thing. Sometimes they buzz around our heads and it's not so fun, but if you leave them alone, they'll go away because they make honey. Pay no attention to me, Pooh said, sticking his paw in the tree hole. He pulled it right back out as soon as the bee flew out and landed on his nose. "I think the bees suspect something," said Pooh. "Perhaps they think you're after their honey," called Christopher Robin. "Well, you never can tell with bees," replied Pooh, "but I think it would help to fool the bees if you would open your umbrella and say, 'Tut, tut, it looks like rain.'" So Christopher Robin opened his umbrella and pretended that a rainstorm was coming to the 100-acre woods. It's silly. Look at there. And there Christopher Robin is pretending to think that it's going to rain so that the bees will go back in their hole and never mind Pooh. But then pretty soon more bees flew out of the nest and began to buzz all around the little rain cloud called Pooh. Some landing on his nose, others on his arms and legs, until he and his balloon were almost completely covered with them. "Christopher Robin, I have come to a very important decision," shouted Pooh. "These are the wrong kind of bees." Look at there. The bees are flying all around him, and he figured out that these aren't honeybees. Uh-oh. Just then the air started to leak out of the balloon, and Pooh began to fall. "Oh, bother. I think I shall come down now," said Pooh. "I'll catch you," said Christopher Robin, which is just what he did. But the bees kept coming. So the two friends took off running through the 100-acre woods when Pooh tripped over a log. Christopher Robin ran back to save him. Then together they jumped into a mud hole. There they are. And there they are trying to get away from the bees. Christopher Robin opened his umbrella to cover them, and the bees flew right by. The two friends were safe at last. "You never can tell with bees," said Pooh. Christopher Robin smiled at his friend and said, "Silly old bear." See, there they are hiding, and the bees flew on by. Wasn't that a silly story? That silly old bear. So Granny likes reading you stories, and I hope to see you again soon. And I will try and read you another story for next time. So you have a really, 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 really fun day with Daddy and Aunt Jen. And give Daddy a big hug and tell Daddy that he has to give Grammy a hug for you, okay? And I hope to see you soon. Have a nice day. I love you. Bye.